On the proving grounds too this morning, reopening several of our Duke traps. Now we're using the 11-12 model, which is great for raccoons and possums. We had a big, wicked cold front move through not only proving grounds, but much of the Midwest and across the country. A lot of times during those wicked cold fronts, critters will den up for several days. And then when it starts warming back up, they'll get out to feed. So you can tell I've got a short sleeve shirt on today. It's starting to warm up and we've got several warm nights. Suspect critters are going to be on the move looking for a meal. So the Duke traps are super easy to close and open. Now we're just opening them back up. We recently shared how we look for trap locations and the techniques we use to find where critters are traveling, find fresh sign, and get a trap, and where to locate it on that microsite where thermals are working for us, carrying scent across the path of any critter that's working through the area. The first thing I'm going to do after I've located my trap site is I'm going to start setting it, and I'm going to bed it. That's a technique you talk about when you're coyote trapping or other trapping techniques, bedding the trap, kind of getting it solid on the ground. Well, the same idea is true even on a cage trap. So I like to clear out the area. I might even use the trap to kind of push some of the debris away, the leaf litter and sticks and rocks, get all that debris out of the way, and then make sure that trap is set level and it doesn't want to go back and forth or tilt or any. If that happens, if we just leave it and it's off a bit or sitting on a rock and our big old boar raccoon that's seen a lot of winters comes walking in and puts his foot on one side and that trap kind of starts going, well, he could back out and that could mean not catching that big raccoon. So I want to get it solid so it's level. And a little trick, if you can't get it quite right, is I like to just take a little rock here or there and like wedge it up underneath and make sure that trap is solid. And when a raccoon or possum or any critter is going to walk in, it's not going to wobble. We take all this time to set the trap, so we want to make sure that when a critter comes to the trap site, our chances are very high that we'll catch that critter. So not only am I making sure everything's level, but I'm making sure there's no leaves or sticks right here by the door, even a big rock. For when that door shuts, it shuts all the way and it doesn't hang up. Same thing on the pan on the back. I want to make sure that there aren't any rocks or twigs that have come up underneath and that will keep that pan from going all the way down, which may keep that door from shutting. Once the trap is level and solid and there's no objects blocking the door or preventing the pan from dropping and shutting the door, we're good to go. It's time to bait. I like to use really cheap cat food. It smells fishy, meaty. It's easy to find, inexpensive. Just put some in a little soup can. I also like to add peanut butter, which has kind of a sweet smell, but also has a lot of calories that critters are looking for this time of year. So I like to rub that on the outside of the can so that scent is out there wafting around. Have that cat food inside. Now we're not feeding the critter, we're just wanting to get enough scent in the area to attract them to the trap site. So we like to use a soup can to help protect that bait. You know, we get a little shower move through or something, little humidity. With that soup can, we're protecting that bait and keeping it working more days. It's not getting as much moisture, and we can go several days, maybe even a week, without changing the bait. When you put the soup can in the trap, make sure you put it back behind the pan and put it so it doesn't slide under the pan and keep that from closing. There's another object that could keep that door from closing. So you want to back it out and use a smaller can, not a big can, that sits up on top where critters can just grab, back out, and take off. With that smaller can, they got to work around trying to pick it up, trying to roll it around, get that bait out of there. They're working those feet, and they're going to set the trap off.
Growing Deer is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Also by Green Cover Food Plots, Winchester, Lacrosse Footwear, Moultrie Mobile, Fleet Outdoor Apparel, Morel Targets, RTP Outdoors, Fourth Arrow, Hunt Stand, Scorpion Venom Archery, Case IH Tractors, Ward Laboratories, Burris Optics, National Land Realty, G5 Broadheads, Prime Bows, and Redneck Hunting Blinds.
So when we're talking about foot movement, we want those critters to commit to go into the back of the trap. And a lot of times you'll hear some trappers talking about making hairpin triggers or something where they may file down the trigger on a trap or set it off just on the edge so that trap, as soon as something steps on it, goes off. Well, we don't want that. We want that critter to commit. And what's great about these Duke traps is right here on the door, there's a groove right in this bar. And that, when you lift that pan up, you set that bar right there on that groove, and that's set, it's stable. But as soon as something commits and steps on that pan in the back, it's going down. So that way, we're not trying to set a hair trigger, trying to just get it right on the edge. That way, if a big raccoon comes in, he may bump the side here just a little bit, the door doesn't shut, and he can back out. So we want to make sure that is set in that groove and it's solid. And now, you know, this trap is very solid for any critter that's going to walk in and it's going to move around maybe just a little bit as they work that bait. Making sure they commit and we have a good catch. We talk about scent a lot, but you can also appeal to a critter's eyes. Of course, we're targeting nest predators, right? You know, just this morning we were out and I stopped and I saw a turkey track going across this road. And it was a great reminder of why we're trapping these raccoons. Hey, appeal to their eyes also. Scrambled up some eggs this morning, have a cracked egg. We can set in here and that white egg appeals to a critter's eyes. So not only are we appealing to his nose with some different baits, but we're also appealing to his eyes every now and then. But one thing I want to point out is make sure all your bait is away from probably the front of your trap a little bit, out past where this door extends. We don't want any bait underneath this door, and there's several reasons why. First off, we're setting these traps here, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. They're going to be sitting here all day, and most critters are running at night, but there'll be crows and they may stop in and grab a few bites, couple other bird species, and as they hop around, if you've got bait underneath this door, if they hop around, they may hit this door and shut it, and this trap may be shut before the critters even start moving later this evening. So make sure that bait, if you do like a Hansel and Gretel trail, which is, you know, you just take a handful of cat food and it goes across to stop that raccoon and bring him to the site, make sure that stops before this door. That way you ensure that this door is open when critters are moving. There's a lot of different trapping techniques out there and different baits you can use. It's always great to learn from other trappers. And we always enjoy hearing your comments of what type of bait's working for you, the techniques you're using. So make sure you comment, tell us what you're using on the trap line, the success you're having. We love to hear those comments. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit the notifications tab to make sure you're notified every time we release a new video. We're on the backside of a big cold front, and I got a feeling tomorrow may be a great morning running the trap line. Looking forward to seeing what we catch. Check out our social media pages for daily content and to see what we catch each day on the trap line. Hey, no matter what you're doing this week, maybe you're outside setting some traps or still chasing some venison, hey, I hope you slow down, enjoy creation, but more importantly, listen to what the Creator is saying to you and the purpose He has for your life. Thanks for watching Growing Deer.